Cooking a steak at home can be very simple. The problem is most people don't really know how to do it. So what I'm going to do today on Off Menu is teach you how to cook a steak in a grill pan, in your home, and do it just as well as you could get at any restaurant. Now the key, number one, is to choose the proper steak. And there's really only 3 steaks that you'll want to choose from: the ribeye, the New York strip, and the filet mignon. Or you can go with a porterhouse or T-bone, which includes a New York strip and a filet mignon on the same bone. The only difference between a T-bone and a porterhouse is going to be the size of the fillet. And the rule of thumb, or actually the rule of finger, is 2 knuckles. Anything over 2 knuckles of filet mignon is going to become a porterhouse. So sometimes you can go to the store, and if the price is different and T-bones are cheaper, just go for the one with the larger tenderloin on it. Sticking with those is going to help you prepare a much better steak, because those are the steak cuts. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to preheat our grill pan. I'm using a cast iron pan, and that's what I really recommend, is a cast iron pan. They're cheap, they're durable, last forever. You want your pan good and hot. Our steak looks really good. It's got about a 1/4 inch trim all the way around of fat, and that's what you want to look for, because you don't want to be paying for fat from your butcher. So the only thing that I can see is there's a back strap that goes along the New York strip, and we're going to want to cut that off now before we put it in the pan. Okay, now a lot of chefs, I've watched a lot of videos, and some of them will say that you need to leave your steak out so it'll get up to room temperature, something like that. I don't really know the reasoning behind that. They all give a different reason, but let's put it this way. In restaurants, we don't do that. If we did that, there'd be steaks laying everywhere in the restaurant all night coming up to room temperature. We take ours straight out of the cooler, season it, and it goes onto the grill or into the pan. And that's what we're gonna do here. So this just came out of the refrigerator. We've trimmed it, and now we're gonna season it. When it comes to seasoning on steaks, stay away from any pre-made seasonings. Make your own. I always keep on hand my seasoning mix, which is a combination of kosher salt, freshly ground pepper, and granulated garlic. And that's about a 5 to 1 to 1 kosher salt to black pepper to granulated garlic. And you're going to want to sprinkle it liberally. The other key about steaks is you want to get a steak that's at least 3/4 of an inch thick, if not more. It's better to split a thick steak than to do 2 thin steaks. So we've got one side done. Now here's what I do. Olive oil spray. I spray my steak, and then I spray my pan. And now, all we do is we simply put it in the pan. We're gonna put it at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, now we've got it in the pan at our 45-degree angle. We're gonna let it cook here. I like my steaks about medium rare. So we're gonna let it cook for about 1.5 to 2 minutes in this hot pan. Now we're gonna rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, that gets our beautiful grill marks in one direction. Doing it 90 degrees gives them in the other direction. But what it also does is it keeps it from burning those first marks. Now, if you like your steaks rare, then go ahead and just don't turn it once. We'll go to the flip. So for rare, don't rotate it. For medium rare and over, rotate it. We've had it on for about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes now. We're gonna flip it over to the other side. Now the reason you want to never ever flip your steaks over and over again is because what's happened on this side right now is the heat has started to cook it and started to push those juices up. So that meat is cooked, the juices are moving up into the center, we're flipping it over, and we're starting that same process from the other side. At the same time, the top of this steak is starting to cool. So if we were to flip it back over, basically what's going to happen is we're going to really dry out that meat, because the process is going to start all over again. So really the only thing that you should do when you are grilling a steak, in the pan, rotate, flip, rotate, out, let it rest. That's it. If you fiddle around with this any more than you should, you're going to screw up your steak. I mean, it's like Mama always said, don't play with your meat. You won't go blind, you won't grow hair on your palms from doing it that way, but you're going to have a really lousy steak. And why would you want to pay 10 bucks for a beautiful steak from the store and then screw it up because you just want to mess with it and make it look like you're a chef? All right, here's our last rotation, 90 degrees. Let it sit, don't mess with it. It's gonna be about another minute or two, tops, and we're gonna pull it out. All right, here we go. Out of the pan, onto a plate. You never want to put your steak back on the cutting board where you had it when it was raw. You don't want to cross-contaminate. It's probably going to be fine since we eat beef tartare and such, but never take that chance. Now, this is one of the most important things. We've touched on a lot of very important things, but this is really one of the most important aspects of cooking a steak properly, is letting it rest. A thick steak like this, what you want is for those juices that have all been forced to the inside to be able to redistribute. If you were to cut into this steak right now with them all huddled in the center of the steak, all the juices would flow out and you'd end up with a dry steak. So you want to let it rest for about 5 minutes. I would rather have a warm steak that's juicy than a hot steak that isn't. Now, if you want your steak medium well or well done, I know some people like it that way, and I will never judge you for that. I realize that some people like it that way. What I would do, and we do this at the restaurants, and I recommend you do it at home, is cook it to medium rare or medium, and then take it off the grill and go to the microwave, or what we like to call in the restaurant business, the French oven. Stick it in there for 30 seconds to a minute for medium well to well done. It'll cook the center of the steak, and all those juices, get them nice and hot again, and it'll cook the center, give you your medium well or well done steak without it drying out. There's no reason you can't have a steakhouse quality steak in your own house, whether it comes off your grill, out of your grill pan, out of your oven. As long as you choose the right cuts, follow those simple steps, you'll have a great steak every time. Thanks for watching Off Menu Cooks.